today we're going to have a look at this pen, TWSBI. No, wait! It's not. This is a Wingsung 3008, which is fascinating. It was kindly sent to me by Annie, which I really do appreciate, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are interested in this pen. Now here's the fun thing. Here is a TWSBI 580 AL for the aluminum version, and this is a Wingsung 3008. So you can see that there are some minor resemblances here. It's not a one-on-one copy, but it's about a, what shall we call that? A 0.9-on-1 copy of the 580. Very interesting. So I'm very happy to be able to review this because these things are always fun. As always, we can have all sorts of discussions about how appropriate this is and whether it's ethical and all that stuff. But let's not right now. Let's just focus on the pen. Okay. Interesting thing, these 580s are, I forgot, $60 something. This was $3 Canadian, and that included shipping, Andy told me. So, I mean, you're definitely buying an inexpensive pen. Obviously a TWSBI knockoff, there's no way around it, but interestingly it is an actual piston filler. There was a time when a lot of the Chinese companies only had cartridge converters, but they are really branching out into piston-filled pens now. I've reviewed the Wingsung 698, which is pretty much a clone of the TWSBI Eco. This is more of a TWSBI Diamond. It also has the facets, and both are actual piston-filled pens. So I'm very interested to see what this means for Montblanc knockoffs, because those were typically easy to spot because they had cartridge converters, and now they could actually become piston fillers. So very interesting. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then we'll do a writing sample. Top of the pen. Finial. Clip, simple clip, looks like the TWSBI clip. Here are two characters which I'm sure are Wingsung. There's a little label there, of course you can pull that off. Completely clear cap, which is kind of nice. We have the barrel. The barrel is faceted. Try to capture the light a bit, but it is faceted, it's not round. You can see the piston seal in there, a little bit of metal there, and the piston turning knob, including the sort of silver or chrome colored ring that TWSBI does. Cap unscrews. Section transparent. Feed transparent, which is kind of cool. So you can see not just you cannot just see the feed, but you can actually see through the feed, through the section, which is kind of neat. Metal ring at the end there, and then you have this nib. This nib is of course a Lamy type nib, and Annie let me know that you could actually put on a Lamy nib, which is quite neat, because that means of course they've mixed and matched two things now. It's a Lamy type nib, which means you can put on any of your Lamy nibs, which is in a way neat because that expands the range of the nib. This happens to be a fine nib, but you can put on whatever you like then. Little rubber ring there to keep the cap in place. Threads there, not particularly sharp. And that's it. So just to do a side-by-side comparison of the sections of the two pens. As I said, it's not a one-on-one copy. The purple TWSBI there is different nib, but also the section is different. It is metal, whereas on the Wingsung it is all plastic. But let's face it, there's definitely a resemblance, right? Down, if you look at the threads, you can definitely see that. Okay, so what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, it's inexpensive. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. It's very, very affordable. If you can buy this for $4 Canadian, including shipping, that's almost nothing. So you can pick up an inexpensive pen that has interchangeable nibs, some of which you may already own, that does have a piston filler, that holds a lot of ink. I haven't measured the capacity, but it fills up pretty much all the way to the top, so that's a lot of ink. That's more than any converter will ever hold. So that's very neat. You can also disassemble it by hand. This one doesn't require a wrench. I can't show you now because there's ink in there, but as I was unscrewing it earlier, I basically popped off the whole thing, and then you can just you can pull out the whole piston unit, including the metal part there. So for cleaning it, but also for greasing it, if it needs a little bit of silicone grease. That's super easy. You don't even need the wrench. You can just unscrew the whole thing. So that's kind of interesting. Another thing I liked is that that bit of metal adds to the solid feel, because it's not a super light plasticky pen. By no means is it heavy, but the metal adds a little bit. At least it feels a little bit more solid. So that's actually not that terrible. Things I don't like so much. The nib is okay, it's not perfect. This one is a little dry and a little prone to skipping, so it's not perfect. But then again, it is $4. So, I mean, what can you expect? And if you can put on a Lamy nib, you might actually get a better result, and you can always tune this nib a little bit. I think at this price, it's not really fair to complain about the writing, given that the piston works, it draws up ink, it does everything it should do. And it does write. It's just that I need a little bit more pressure, so I would probably tune that a little bit if I were to buy this to make it work. My issue with the pen was that the piston, to my mind, unscrews a little bit too easily. Because the thing is, the turning knob is a little small. I had the feeling it was a little smaller than on the TWSBI, but I could be wrong, but I wasn't. So you can see it is a little smaller, so a little bit harder to hold on to for me. And the result was that I ended up grabbing that metal ring right there, and that whole part unscrews. So if your fingers extend too far, and you hold on to that metal, then the whole thing unscrews. And that, I mean, when the pen is inked, you shouldn't really have to operate the piston anyway. But be aware of it, because if this whole thing pops out and it's full of ink, then you're not in for a good day. Having said that though, at this price, what can you really complain about? It holds a lot of ink. It has a nib you can interchange with other nibs. It does what it's advertised to do. It's a pen, and it writes, and it's a piston filler. So if you're looking to get into piston fillers, you're not entirely sure, here's an option that seems to be pretty safe. Now, as to the whole ethics of it, yeah, that's always debatable. Should there really be copying pens and then everyone explodes? I don't know. You decide for yourself. If you disapprove of this, don't buy it. It's that simple. We're going to do a writing sample. That's what's coming up next. Measurements of the pen as well as high-resolution pictures will be on the website. Check it out, sbrebrown.com. A very kind thank you to Annie for sending me this. I do really appreciate it, and I hope this was interesting and useful to people. And I'm sure it is. Hope this was useful so far, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go with the Wing Sung 3008. The ink is Caran d'Ache. Amazon, no longer available. And the nib is a fine. Okay, writing. As you can see, there's quite a lot of skipping, and I think that's mainly because this is a very dry pen. Because if I exert a little bit more pressure, you see it does a lot better. So I would make this nib a little wetter, and then that probably takes care of the problem. Fast writing. As you can see, clear skipping behavior. And as to wetness, you see it's just a super dry pen. So again, making it a little bit wetter would take care of that problem. Okay, very careful. You can squeeze out a bit of line variation. That's definitely interesting. Of course, be careful not to push it too hard, but you can if you really have to. Reverse writing. It is possible. It's very dry, but you can take it from a fine to, I would say, a very good extra fine. And that's it. So, Annie, thanks a lot for sending me this pen. I appreciate it. Hope this was useful. And I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.